Target acquired. Destroy. Destroy. Destroy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my podcast. This is part 3 for June 14th, 2018. So if you didn't see the first 2 parts, if you're watching this on YouTube, go check them out. They're separate videos. If you did, good stuff. If you're here live on stream, welcome back from the break. This will be the third and final segment of the show. I don't have any more time outside of this. I got about an hour left to finish the show. 2 things we're going to be talking about in this final segment. Number 1 will be a run-through of the gaming schedule for the rest of the year and early 2019 to let you guys know what games I'm interested in playing. And then I'm going to have a serious discussion about depression. All right. There you go. Enough said. All right. Let's begin with the gaming schedule calendar update. E3 is coming to a close right now as we speak, and many games have finally gotten their release dates. And what I want to do now is go through the game release schedule for the rest of the year to let you guys know exactly what games I'm interested in playing. If I don't mention a game in this rundown, it's for 2 reasons. Excuse me. Either number 1, I'm not interested in it at all, and I'm not going to play it, or number 2, maybe the game does not have a solid release date yet, okay? So if there's a game you absolutely want me to play, and I don't mention it in this rundown, then please let me know, because I'll look into it, but if it doesn't have a solid release date, then you know why I didn't mention it, okay? Alright. Here we go. June. Well, folks, it's the 14th of June. There's not a heck of a lot going on this coming week. However, on the Friday, the 22nd, we got Mario Tennis Aces, the new Mario Tennis game. Then on the 26th, we've got 2 different releases. We got The Adventures of Captain Spirit, which I already mentioned on this podcast earlier, is the standalone kind of game from Don't Nod, the same people who made Life is Strange. This is the game that takes place in the Life is Strange universe, the kid imagining stuff. You know, like he's a space hero and stuff like that. That should be pretty interesting. There's also the Mario Cross Rabbids Donkey Kong Adventure DLC expansion. I'm curious if people want to see me play this or not. I played Mario Cross Rabbids last year, and I really liked the game, but honestly, it wasn't a big streaming game. What I mean by that is people came out to watch, but I had to make it a nighttime stream because it didn't get a lot of attendance, and it ended up being a more downplayed game. Although it was one of my favorite games of the year, it wasn't necessarily a game that was hyper exciting to watch on stream. So, would you guys like to see me play Mario Cross Rabbids, the DK Adventure DLC, or was just the main story enough last year and you don't want to see me take time out to play it? Okay? Alright. Continuing on. In the month of July, and yes, that means that I'm not playing Crew 2. I don't want to play it. In the month of July, it's the emptiest month of the year. No exaggeration. Not me just saying that. There's almost nothing going on in the entire realm of gaming in the month of July. I'm not surprised. The summer is always dead for some reason. There are a couple releases, but outside of that, what I'm planning to do in the month of July is fill it with kind of the downtime content. For example, my Patron's Choice playthroughs, like doing Half-Life 2 and finishing that up and doing The Simpsons Hit and Run, okay? For, Persona 5. I'll be going back to Persona 5 in the month of July and resuming that playthrough, balancing that with things like PUBG, H1Z1, Street Fighter, and other stuff. So there will be content in July, but mostly it's going to end up being downtime content. That being said, what are the games in July that are coming out that I'm interested in playing? Well, on July 3rd, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. For those who have been very long time fans of mine, one of the first games I actually did a full-fledged playthrough of from start to finish and reviewed, my very first game review I ever did for the internet, was Red Faction Guerrilla. Now, that was a long time ago. That was almost 10 years ago. It was a little over 9 years ago. Okay? I'm strongly debating if I should play this game, because this is like a real anniversary playthrough. One of the first games I ever played, coming back with modernized graphics, modernized controls, direct capture, live streaming, and replaying Red Faction Guerrilla. What do you guys think? Do you think I should do it? Or do you think that that's too old of a game? Why am I replaying that, right? I think it would be pertinent, so it is re-releasing now. It would be a lot more, it would make more sense, you know what I mean? That's right, Lord Lamb V3. It was me inventing the term Hateful Truth, my review series. It was my very first episode of Hateful Truth, so. Okay. All right. And then on the 13th of July, Octopath Traveler. Now, here's the bummer about this. I want to finish my playthrough of Persona 5, before I move on to any other RPGs. And I know I probably have at least 20 hours or more of gameplay left in Persona 5. I'm 400 parts into it. People have told me I'm about 2/3 through. I'm ending the last third of the game, which is like the best part of the game. So, understandably, if I do Persona 5, okay, I can't play another RPG at the same time. So, if I start Persona 5 in early July, right, then sadly, I won't be able to play Octopath Traveler when it releases. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know what to do here in regard to this game. Do I play Octopath Traveler as a new release? Or do I say I'm going to hold off on it and finish Persona 5 first and then play Octopath Traveler? I don't know what to do. I guess we'll see. But that's it for the releases for July, which is why I said this is going to be a month downtime stuff. Half-Life 2, Sims Hit and Run, Persona 5, H1Z1, PUBG, Street Fighter, among other projects. I may go back, like I said, do other throwback playthroughs, maybe Silent Hill, you know, that kind of stuff. It'll be a month of celebration of my 10 years on the internet as a content creator. All right. Okay. August. August has a few games that I'm interested in. On the 10th, we've got We Happy Few. Now, it's a no-brainer I'm playing that one because I own it. I bought the early access version of the game 2 years ago on the Xbox One, and I played it, and I thought it was an interesting premise, but the game was very unfinished. Here we are 2 years later, the game is finally coming out. So, We Happy Few, I'll definitely be playing August 10th. On the 14th, we got The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 1. Obviously, I've been along for the ride all 3 previous seasons for The Walking Dead, and even though season 3 was kind of meh, I'm definitely looking forward to the final season to see how Clementine's story will finally end, alright? Then, really nothing until the end of the month. On the 28th of August, we've got 2 major releases. Yakuza Kiwami 2, so it's the remake of Yakuza 2 in the modern engine, you know, redone. And I'm debating playing it. I never played Yakuza 2. But what I'm afraid is going to happen is exactly the same thing that happens every time I start a Yakuza game in August. I'll start playing it, I'll get caught up with all the new releases in September, and I'll never finish it. So I'm almost debating not playing it because I'm afraid I will never finish it. Okay, but we'll see. The same day is Fire Pro Wrestling World. Now, this is a game that has been a long-running simulation-style wrestling game since the 1990s. I've never played a Fire Pro Wrestling game, but people are saying this game is going to be great. You'll be able to create your own wrestlers, create simulations, and I'm debating getting it. I'm not sure if I'm going to, but I'm debating getting it. All right, so it's a strong consideration considering I've never played one before. It will be a totally new experience for me. And as a fan of pro wrestling, obviously I'd probably really like it too. So Fire Pro Wrestling, I may be getting. All right. All right, then in August, hoo boy, here we go. We start hitting August. I'm an idiot. September. Hoo boy, we start hitting the really busy gaming months of the year. The hardcore gaming season hits full effect in September. We start off with Dragon Quest XI on the 4th of September. Which, again, goes hand in hand with, if I play Yakuza Kiwami, that's obviously going to intercede with Dragon Quest, and I do actually want to play Dragon Quest, so I don't think I'm going to be playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, I'm just saying. But Dragon Quest 11 in September, brand new RPG, I love the Dragon Quest series, and I would love to share that with you guys, okay? On the 7th, we've got 2 releases. Spider-Man, that's the obvious giant release, and yes, I'll be playing that, September 7th. But also SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. If you're not aware, this is a game, fighting game, starring only the females from the SNK franchise, of which there are a ton. There have been a ridiculous amount of female fighters in the SNK franchise over the years, so they're making a kind of a dream match game where they're bringing in all the female fighters from all their games into one amalgam game, amalgamation. And apparently it's a tag battle, 2-on-2. So, I may play it. I'm not sure, but I may play it. So, I'm considering it. On the 14th, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is one that's a big maybe for me, because I actually really liked the Tomb Raider reboot from years ago. I did not like Rise of the Tomb Raider a couple years ago. I thought it was the same exact game. It was boring. So, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that one. But it's on the schedule, okay? And then, on the 21st, Spyro Trilogy. So the Spyro remastered games, I've already played Spyro 1 last year, so that means this year I'll be starting with Spyro 2. And yes, I may also play Spyro 3 depending on time constraints, okay? And then, On the 28th of September, Code Vein. That's right, the game that everyone is saying has Dark Souls-esque comparisons, but it's anime style. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to be playing Code Vein at the end of September. Gotta love that throat coat tea. It's really good. Okay. By the way, a couple shout-outs to do. A big bubbling black man says that closing the chat during my final segment about depression on this show would be ideal so I could focus and put out a very serious, segment and prevent any distractions. And Hank Hill Propane God, holy crap, haven't seen you around in a million years, man. He's back. He resubscribed for the 4th month in a row. He said, hello, my dude. Haven't been able to come around much, but your royal rat is back. All right, good to see you, Hank Hill. And thank you for the support, of course. All right, continuing on with the calendar update. In October 2nd, 3 releases on October 2nd. We've got Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. I've never played a Fist of the North Star game before. People are saying this might be one I want to check out. So I got it on my radar. Mega Man 11, that's a definite I'm playing. And then a maybe would be Forza Horizon 4. You know, I played Forza Horizon 3, and there was a lot I liked about it, and a few things I didn't. But in general, I did actually really like Forza Horizon 3. However, sadly, some things have changed since then. If I were to play this game, I'd have to turn off the music, which would really stink, I think. So I'm debating playing it, but I'm not 100% saying I am. It's kind of, I'm on the fence about it, okay? Okay. By the way, shout out to Big Jeff Productions who just subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Big Jeff Productions. Appreciate that. Then, on the 5th of October, we've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yes, I'm playing that. On the 12th of October, we got Call of Duty Black Ops. On the 12th of October, we've got Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I got that one right. Then on the 19th, we've got Battlefield. I almost fucked that one up. Battlefield 5 on the 19th of October. All right? And then on the 26th of October, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a no-brainer. Of course I'm playing that. All right? November 6th, Overkill's The Walking Dead. A new Walking Dead franchise starting up. I will be checking that out. On the 13th, Hitman 2. On the 14th, Fallout 76, and I'll be looking for significant co-op partners to join me in that game, because it seems like it's co-op only. And then on the 16th, Starlink Battle for, what's it called? Battle for Atlas, I think? But, excuse me, I'm not sure I'll be playing Starlink, because if it's a game that requires you to buy the toys, I'm not going to get it, okay? So we'll see. Then in December, on the 4th of December, Just Cause 4, which I'm on the fence about. I did not like 3 at all. But this game does have interesting new mechanics like weather and stuff, so I'm not sure if I should play it or not. And then on the 7th of December, Smash Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, okay? And that's really it for 2018 for me. I know there's some games I didn't mention that probably will get release dates by the end of the year, and yes, I will be playing more than what I just mentioned. But for the most part, that covers the releases. If there's any major games you feel I missed and you think they have release dates, please let me know, okay? So that's it. But, as you know, if you've been watching all the E3 stuff, a lot of games have been delayed and or are releasing in early 2019. The most notable games that I will be looking to play in early 2019 are Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is coming out on the 25th of January. And then, just to time with when I finish that game, Kingdom Hearts 3 releases on the 29th of January. End of January is going to be quite good this year, right? Pretty good. And then February, oh, don't even get me started. This is I listed 5 major games that are released in February, all on February 22nd. This isn't even all the games coming out in February, but just on the February 22nd, Days Gone, Anthem, Crackdown 3, the new Trials game, and Metro Exodus. What the fucking shit flaming balls of ass is that? I mean, it's good, but it's bad. How are you supposed to play 5 fucking games in one day? Play 1 hour a game a day? What is going on? Why did they do this? That's why I put it in the worst of E3 countdown. Why did they do this? Are they trying to kill us? 5 games? How can anyone play so much? It's not fair. What is happening? So, early next year, 2019 will be great. So, as you can see from this game schedule, pretty good. Every month, honestly, is good, except for July. Like, July is slow as shit. And August to some extent. September, October, November, crazy busy. December, meh, but it's always like that. January, February, good. So really, the gaming landscape is looking quite good for the next year to year and a half, which is actually what I said. I said I felt this E3 would actually give us a ton of games and release dates and positive information, and it would be that kind of an E3 where we'd be able to take a look at the future and say, holy crap, here's what we're going to play, right? And that's exactly what's come out of E3, a really definitive roadmap of the games that we'll be playing for the rest of this year and early next year, and that's a good thing. So feeling good about gaming, that's for sure. All right, and I did say Fallout 76 hidden dice. No Fallout 76? I did say that. Gibby Pats, so I am playing that in November is what I meant to say. Gibby Pats cheered. He says, rest in peace, February 2019, my bank account. Dude, that was 5 games in one day. There's more than that coming out in February. They just don't have set dates yet. There's probably going to be like 12 games coming out in February. Oh, yes. Holy shablamoles. Good God. All right, time for the stretch. Oh, what a stretch. That was a good one, huh? All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get serious. It's time to stop screwing around here. All right? I know that when I get on the podcast, sometimes I get a little silly, and, I talk about things that could be humorous or whatever, but every once in a while I do tackle a serious topic. So today I do want to tackle a serious topic, real talk, not joking or anything here. This is something that's very serious. It affects thousands of people across the globe. It's something that, sadly, unlike, you get a cut, you break a leg, you break your toe, those are things that can be cured or fixed. Sadly, there are afflictions that aren't like that. Things that stick with you for forever. Things that you have to live to manage and learn to live with because they're life-changing things, right? And the reason in particular that I want to talk about this subject today, even though I could have talked about it any time in the past 10 freaking years that I put out content for the internet, is because we've seen high-profile people, celebrities, who are affected by this. And we've lost a few of them recently, to apparent, we don't know 100% confirmed, but apparent suicide, right? And when you are an outsider to something like this disease, and you don't really understand it because you're not affected by it yourself, and you see a situation, I'll give you a perfect example recently, Kate Spade. Maybe you may not even know who she is. I know who she is because I see her stores and her products everywhere. Kate Spade, a very famous designer of women's clothing, purses, merchandise. She has a worldwide presence. Her products can be bought in any department, major department store, outlet, boutique kind of stuff, anywhere across the globe. She's a multi-millionaire. She might even be a billionaire. I'm not sure. She might be a billionaire. And she has a store. There was just a store just opened of hers near me at an outlet mall. Okay? Kate Spade, her name. And recently she passed away. She committed suicide. And you hear a story like that, and you're like, this woman had it all, right? She's filthy rich, world renowned, okay? Probably didn't have any issues when it came to finances or health or anything like that. When it came to physical health, oh no, I gotta go to the doctor. Not a problem. You're filthy rich. You can pay for whatever you want, right? She was apparently married by all reports, a happy marriage and all of that. And then you hear this and you're like, what the hell? Like, why would someone like that commit suicide, take their own life? That's just, it's unfathomable for some of us, right? To think why, that person's, literally, that's the person you would want to be. One day you would aspire to be that successful and that have your name be a worldwide name that's recognized, right? Another example just happened this last week, Anthony Bourdain. Here's a guy who's a well-known television personality. He used to be a chef. And now he's become a person on Netflix and other things, doing shows like, oh my God, am I going to have a brain fart now and not be able to remember the name of his shows? I'm sure you guys know the name of Anthony Bourdain's television shows. What, something Boundary? Oh my God. What is it? Parts Unknown, right? Isn't it Parts Unknown? Yeah, like he has several series. He has series on Netflix. He had series on regular TV. He's had very successful television series. The guy's in his 60s. Again, filthy rich. Has all reports in a relationship with a very attractive, woman. Loved. Having, everything's successful. Everything's good. Why would this guy just apparently commit suicide? What on earth? Right? And the thing is, he has active shows on television. No reservations and parts unknown. Thank you guys, because I got them confused. I was thinking something with reservations, but I thought it was no. Yes, he has 2 shows. No reservations and parts unknown. One's on the travel channel, I believe. I think one's on either on CNN. I think he has a show on Netflix. Like one of his shows is on Netflix on demand. So he's known from many other things. Okay. And you're like, so, what on earth could happen? Now, the bottom line is we only know as much as we're told. I'm sure these people, right, have things going on in their lives that aren't perfect. I'm sure even if you're filthy rich, that does not make you immune to having all kinds of shit go wrong in your life. Trust me, as someone who for 2 or 3 years was making big bank, it doesn't mean life is perfect. There's still shit that can happen behind the scenes and everything. But in general, the topic I want to discuss to end my podcast this week, or this month, whenever you want to say, is depression. All right, depression is not a joke. It's not something to be joked about, by the way. Even though you'll have comedians who are self-deprecating and they'll joke about their own depression and whatever, in reality, it's a very serious issue. And if you don't take it seriously, it could really negatively affect your life, the lives of others, to the point where if it's untreated and or unmanaged, it could result in death. Okay? Real talk. That's the bottom line. It's not... Some people, I hear such crazy misconceptions about depression. I hear people say things like, oh, that's just someone who just loves to feel sorry for themselves. Just ignore them. They're just going to be over there and be negative about everything no matter what, right? I've heard that. I actually heard about 2-3 months ago on social media. It wasn't 2-3 months ago. It was about last year, I think, on social media, on Twitter. There was a guy, some MMA fighter. I don't recall the guy's name. He wasn't a notable guy who I recognized, but the guy had like 100,000 followers, and he was verified on Twitter. And the guy apparently is rich. He's got a beautiful Adonis-like body, right? He's got a hot girlfriend or wife or whatever. So his life's perfect. And he literally said on his Twitter feed, he says the following: people who are depressed just need to get out of that rut in their life. Depression isn't really an illness. It's just that people are not having good things for them, and therefore, they're stuck in this negative rut. But if you really work hard and you're determined to get out of that negativity, instead of focusing on it and saying, woe is me, you can overcome depression and you can beat it and all of this. And he says this to his, hundreds of thousands of followers. And I started reading, being someone, someone who actually has suffered from depression and still have it. That's another thing I should say right up front to you guys who never experienced depression or don't know anything about it. Depression, even though some people claim to be cured of it, at least in my experience, it does not go away. Depression is something that when you get it, it's there with you forever. And there's ways to manage it, and there's ways to forget about it, and ways to not bring attention to it, and basically focus on the positive things in life. But I think the best way that I can describe it is kind of like a little passenger that's always along for the ride and always is going to be there. And I know that sounds really fucking weird, because I think it sounds weird too, but it's true. Like, I'm going to tell you some stuff in this segment is going to be fucked up. Trust me. You're going to be like, really? If you don't have depression, you're going to, what? Really? Yeah, some of the things I'm about to say are going to blow your mind. But it's true. Like, it's not a person's fault who has depression that they have it. This fucking guy on social media, it's your fault because you let yourself be a failure in life and you didn't work hard enough to get out of that failure, and you gave yourself this woe is me attitude, and that's not depression. That's you feeling so... What the fuck? What an awful... terrible, horrible thing to say to someone who's suffering from the disease, because you basically turned them into a guilty. They're now guilty. They've done something wrong and they're guilty, and that's why they have this illness. That's not the case. There's people, yes, absolutely. There's people who have guilt over things and that gives them depression. There's people who just get it. It could be hormonal. It could be just wires crossed wrong in your fucking head. You can't place blame for someone getting an illness like this, because it's not necessarily something that's resulting in that someone did something wrong or was not determined enough, didn't work hard enough. You know what I mean? That's like the worst possible thing, all right, that you could say about it, is that it's someone's fault, and that's ridiculously bad. Okay, so people now are going to argue with me about semantics because they're being jerks in the street. It's not a disease, it's a disorder. All right, it's a disorder. It's not what I'm talking about. We're not here to argue semantics and shit, all right? We're here to talk real turkey about what this is, this disorder. I'll call it a disorder. Oh, for the little Nancys who might get offended that I said disease instead of disorder. Oh, my God. Okay. So, The bottom line is it could just be as small as a self-doubt, all right, that balloons into something way worse. It could be something that actually happens because of something negative in your life. So it could be, you know, you're confident about something and all of a sudden one day you don't feel confident and you start building up this big ball of negativity about not being confident anymore, right? Or it could be you're super confident about something and you fail, and now because you faced this adversity, now you get this big ball of, man, I'm not good enough, and I'm never gonna be good enough to do what I thought I could do. It could be based off of many different factors: physical appearance, intelligence level, financial level, skill level at any kind of a challenge in your life. It could be a mental one, it could be a physical one. It could be anything. That's what I mean. Like when people say depression in general, that's a very generalized term. This could be a disorder that forms from so many different pieces of a puzzle that could create this inside of a person. All right. But in general, it usually comes from a moment of negativity, a moment of weakness. Even though it should be said that, like I just said, you could be the richest person on the planet, the happiest person on the planet with absolutely everything that you would ever want, and you could still suffer from it. You could still be like, man, I feel terrible about this or that, okay? Now, what I can tell you is my own experience, all right? My own experience with it and how it's affected my life, okay? And how I've dealt with it. Because really, the thing is, it's different for everyone. That's another thing I should say. It's different for everyone. This is not a universal thing that's identical. Every single person is different. Okay? Every single person on planet Earth is different to begin with. But everyone who goes through this and has it has to deal with it differently, because everyone might have it to a different extent and for a different reason. There are some people who definitively, if you get rid of the problem, maybe it'll go away for them. And there's other people, if you get rid of the problem, it will never go away. Okay? It'll always just fucking be there. And there's different options and different things you could do to negate that, or to mitigate that, is what I meant to say. Okay? All right. And by the way, I see people are cheering. I'm not going to read those because I want to focus on what I'm talking about. All right? I do. This is serious. I just want to get through this before anything. Okay? So, all this being said, in my case, back in high school, I started having feelings, of self-doubt and things like that. And that's normal. When you're in high school, that's like the time of your life when you're just riddled with emotions and you're in the middle of puberty and all these changes, life changes are going on in your life, and you feel these weird feelings back and forth, like maybe you're not good enough or whatever. And, that's fine. But for me, I can tell you guys, without actually telling you the full extent of it, I was on a cocktail of medications, okay? And one or two of the medications' known side effects were that it could cause depression. But I didn't know that because I didn't read the side effects. I was just trusting my people who were making these decisions for me. And so I ended up taking this medication that literally within like 2 months of me taking the medication, my whole personality was changing. Okay? I went from this like more positive, happy-go-lucky kind of a guy to more of like a dark, a brooding kind of guy. And I felt in my head that I'm never going to have success. It doesn't matter how much I work at life or how much I do, that I'm going to be worthless. Girls will never like me. It's just real negativity, a big everything, just negative. Okay? No matter how success I had, I would do great in school, go on a date with a girl or whatever, go to, hang out with my friends, having fun, and I would be the outgoing kind of happy-go-lucky guy. But that was my outer appearance. Inside, in my head, it was literally the opposite. Like, I felt like I was worthless, like I wasn't a friendly guy, like people were just bullshitting me. I wasn't a good guy, I wasn't funny, I wasn't attractive. None of those things mattered. It was all bullshit in my head, because that's what it does to you. It eats you from the inside. It's kind of like they say a toxic thing or a virus. It'll eat your psyche from the inside and make you feel like no matter what you do out in the real world isn't really happening, or is it just futile. It's not gonna last. That you're still eventually going to fail. You're still eventually going to have this big negative thing happen to you. Okay? Now, the good news is, eventually I got off the medication. And I stopped. I could tell you, real talk, when I was in high school at one point, I was to the point where I was losing it. I wanted to either go do something drastic or, go nuts. There was a girl who I was like obsessed with for a while, and I really do feel like the reason was because of the medication I was taking, and it wasn't because I actually was legitimately liked that girl. It was just the meds were fucking with my head. And so I was thinking of doing crazy shit. All right. Once the meds ran out, it kind of went away, but that nagging feeling back here never went away. So my whole life, everything that I've strived to do, everything that I tried to turn into a pot. I say a lot of times I'm the king of hate, right? I'm the guy that when people talk down to me and they say I can't do something and I'm a piece of crap, and I use that negativity, I use that toxicity to fuel me, right? To say, no, I'm going to persevere. I'm going to punch through the boundaries. I'm going to become, that person that they say I can't be, and I'm going to be successful no matter what. But even though I have done that, there's still this back here. And it's still in the back of my neck, the back of my head, the back of my mind, and it's always telling me that I'm a bad person. It's telling me that I don't deserve any success. It's telling me that I'm ugly. It's telling me that I'm fat. It's telling me that I'm gross. It's telling me that I'm not funny, that I'm worthless, that I'm a sellout, that I'm a shill, that I'm a piece of crap, that I don't deserve any kind of positivity. I don't deserve my girlfriend. I don't deserve the love of my parents. I don't deserve to live. And it's there. And it never fucking goes away. It doesn't matter how much you try. For me at least, I've never been able, even the moments of my greatest success, I'm at Evo and I'm kicking ass in a tournament or whatever. And I feel great about myself. Within a day, it's gone because this comes back and tells me I'm a piece of crap, Or, on YouTube, I'm making big money. I'm putting out videos on YouTube that are getting hundreds of thousands of views. I'm being told I'm one of the funniest Let's Players there's ever been. And I'm getting massive success on YouTube. And everything's telling me, great. Okay. And it's back here. And it's telling me, nope, fuck you. You're a piece of crap. You're a piece of garbage. And, it never goes away. There's always self-doubts, for example. You'll be told that you're good looking. Okay? Your depression won't let you feel that. Even though you'll look in the mirror and say, okay, and people will tell you, you look good. Nope. Your depression will tell you no. All right? There's days, all right? There's days when I wake up. And by the way, there's idiots in the stream chat telling me that they don't know. They're idiots. I'm just going to ignore all of them because they're just there to cause trouble, as usual. There's days when I wake up and for absolutely no reason, there's nothing that's triggered it. I just feel incredibly sad, a ball of sadness, right? For no reason. It's not like I woke up and things went wrong today, or I woke up, you know what I mean? I'll just be sad for no fucking reason, okay? And why? And that's the thing too. If you try to treat it with logic, it doesn't work because depression is not logical. Depression is not like cause and effect. Oh, I cut my leg and my leg hurts. It's not like that. It's like it could just happen. And one day you feel like shit for no fucking reason. There's been days, this is real, okay? When I was doing YouTube for a living, and I told you guys that I couldn't work today, I don't feel good. That's because I was depressed. That's not because I was actually physically feeling bad or sick. It's because I woke up and I felt awful. My mind was fucked. And I just couldn't even get my head together to get a thought without thinking negative, terrible, sad thoughts, right? And what depression does, it also makes you focus on negative times in your life, even if you're not in them anymore. There'll be a day, I'll be in the middle, all right? By the way, I wish that we had, okay, thank you. Thank you, Popsicolo. He finally stepped up and he's starting to ban some of these idiots from the stream chat who I'm trying to ignore, all right? There have been days when I'm in the middle of something completely positive and fun, right? There's no reason for me to be sad. There's no reason whatsoever for me to be thinking about negative things from my past. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the thought of something incredibly bad and negative from my past jumps into my head and it kills my mood and it makes me sad as shit or angry or upset. Why? I didn't, nothing triggered it. Nothing fucking triggered it at all. It just, boop, and it fucks you. You could be in the middle of something tremendously happy and it sucks the happiness out of you, all right? And it sucks because you could try as much as you can to get rid of it, or you can try to distract it, and it doesn't go away. It's still there, and it sucks. It's people, just like people, ignorant idiots in the stream chat are saying right now as I'm describing this to you, oh, that's just a self-esteem issue. Oh, it's this and that. Wrong. And that's what I mean. That's the worst thing you can do to someone who has this, is to tell them they're wrong, their problem isn't valid, it's something else, and how dare you act like you have a problem. That's the worst thing you could do, because it just makes them feel even worse. It makes them feel, now I'm even more worthless because maybe I don't really have this problem. It's just me. I'm a weak person and I'm a piece of crap. And again, it compounds it. It makes it even worse. So literally the reaction that I've gotten from people in the stream chat who don't have it and don't understand it, okay, is exactly the kind of reaction that makes it worse in people. So God forbid, if someone, someone who has it or says they have it, or they're feeling down, and like, do not react in that manner. That is just going to make them even worse, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are some ways that you can deal with this, all right? Ways that I have found to try to counter it. Doesn't always work, but here's some things. Number one, you got to try to distract yourself with something that takes a lot of concentration. And what I mean by that is, if you're feeling just terrible, awful, afflicted with this thing, sad, right? What the fuck? Get yourself involved in something that's going to completely distract you to the point where you can't really be thinking about it. You need to concentrate. Sometimes it's physical activity for some people. Go work out, right? I gotta lift some fucking weights, or I gotta go do something physical. Some people who renovate houses and shit, do that stuff. Boom, 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 boom. For some people, it's mental. I'm gonna go play a really great video game that I know I love, and it takes a lot of concentration. It's very challenging, or it could be something else. I don't know. It all depends on your own personal, situation and what you like to do and stuff. And it doesn't even have to be something you like. It could just be something that you need to distract yourself, okay? Because the bottom line is, if you can get yourself pulled away from having that just inundated all of your thought, you're going to end up feeling better. Even if it's not consciously like, oh, I realize now that I'm not, I got off my mind, you'll still feel better. You see what I mean? And maybe it'll go away. That's what I've noticed sometimes. If I'm feeling real shit, and if I can get myself distracted doing something else, okay, it could make things better. But I can tell you, some days it's horrible when, like, I'm feeling bad. And it hasn't happened recently, I should say that, by the way. But if I'm feeling real bad and I have to come on stream, I know I have to come on stream to work, right? I have to come on stream to pay the bills. And now I have to put on a happy face for you guys, when in reality, on the inside, all I'm feeling is sad, 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 or, upset, terrible about myself, all these feelings. And it sucks because, I have to. I can't, like I said, there have been days over the years, you guys who are longtime viewers, there have been days when I said, I just can't stream today, or I can't do videos today. Sorry, guys. That's because I was depressed. And I couldn't actually shake it off enough to come out and put on a happy face and put out entertaining videos or streams or whatever for you guys that day. Okay? Now, there's other ways as well. You can talk to people. Obviously, that's a big one. Sometimes talking about the issues and getting them out there will make you feel better. Sometimes they won't. Because like I said, depression is not logical. It's not like, oh, this happened, this is bothering me. If I talk about it and get it off my chest, the pain or the sadness will go away. It's not true. That's not true. In many cases, you can talk about it as much as you want. All right, this is the wrong mug. That one's empty. Okay? So, you could, talk about it till the cows come home. It may not help anything. Or it might, because it all depends. One of the things about depression is you may feel like no one cares about you. And, because of that, you're all alone. And sometimes when you actually talk out with someone who seems concerned, even if it's just a psychiatrist who's getting paid to be concerned, sometimes just speaking with someone who's concerned can help you. Okay? Now, again, that's not a universal. That's for some people, not everyone. Sometimes that actually does help me a lot, and sometimes it doesn't help at all. It makes things worse, especially if the reason maybe you're feeling bad is something you can't help or you can't change, right? Then it might make things worse because now you're talking about it with someone else and the other person's getting upset about it too. So you got, it might not, it's not a universal, you know what I mean? It just really sucks because it could rear its ugly head. And when it rears its ugly head, it could have many different effects. One of the effects is, like I said, it could make you feel sad to the point where you just shut down. You completely shut down. And that's, like I said, some days that's happened to me. I just can't do any work today. I'm done. I'm just going to lay in bed and cry all fucking day. That's happened to me. Okay? It hasn't happened recently, but it's happened. Kat has seen me like that once ever. And even she was like, oh shit. But there's other ways that it could sadly negatively affect everything. And one way, and this is a big one, and this is one that in particular, this is the first time I'm ever publicly discussing anything like this with anyone, any of you guys that have ever been a viewer of mine, all right? And this is the God's honest truth. I'm not making this up. This is not an excuse or a justification, okay? I take full responsibility for my actions. But one of the biggest problems with depression is self-destruction. And here's what I mean by that. If you have true depression and you have these feelings of hatred of yourself, which I've had. There were points in my life where I hate myself. I don't want to exist anymore. I hate who I am. I hate everything I've become. And the truth is, I don't feel that. I do feel that over the years, as a person, I've grown tremendously. Me now versus me when I started on YouTube, I'm a much better person, I feel, right now. I'm a much more moral person. You know what I mean? I've changed for the better. But inside, this feeling of you're a piece of garbage, you don't deserve anything, hating myself makes me do things that are stupid as fuck, that are incredibly self-destructive, all right? And this is the God's honest truth. Here we go, another idiot. Goodbye. You're a liar. Goodbye. Actually, Popsicola took care of it before I even got to take care of it. Okay? You may notice that every once in a while, I'll do something incredibly stupid and out of character. And you say, why the hell did Phil do that? Things were going good, and, why would Phil do something really stupid like that? And by the way, as I'm talking about this, I'm actually crushing the fuck out of this stress ball, because it's the first time I've ever actually publicly talked about this. I'll do something dumb and out of character for no reason. And, to the logical person looking in from the outside who's a fan, why did Phil fucking do that, right? Why did Phil insult this person? Why did Phil do this? Why did Phil do that? And there's a lot to do, stress and emotion. But there's this self-destructive tendency for people who actually have depression. And I'll give you a perfect example, and you can choose to believe me or not. This is not an excuse, and I own what I did. But about a month ago, I made an incredibly stupid fucking tweet publicly on Twitter. The tweet said that anyone who was playing State of Decay 2 early was a shill and getting paid to do so, and I would be playing the game later in the week, and I'm not getting paid, so my opinions will be valid. All right? I know that's a false statement in my head. I know that's a false statement. 100% I know that tweet is factually incorrect. All right? The actual thought that I wanted to relay was that when people play games early, they're making extra money because they're the only people able to play the games. Therefore, they're basically making a paycheck for playing a game early. It's an elitist practice. I don't agree with it. I've always said early release copies are horseshit. You shouldn't have an elitist group of streamers and reviewers who get these games early, that everyone should have to buy the game on release date, and that way we can all get legitimate opinions of the game on release date. And also, consumers should have self-control. They shouldn't be running out actively to buy every game on release date just to be part of the hype of the release. They should wait a day or two for other people to buy the game, give their honest reviews about it, then decide if they want to buy the game or not. That's my actual full informed opinion about pre-release games. Now, you can agree or disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But what I just said is far less inflammatory than everyone playing a pre-release copy of State of Decay 2 is a fucking, a shill. And, I'm the only person who basically isn't doing it, so watch my stream on Friday, okay? And I know that. I know that putting that out on Twitter is going to cause trouble. I know that, logically, in this head. I know. That's stupid, But I did it anyway. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake that I put that on fucking Twitter. No, sir, it wasn't. That was my depression pulling me out of a positive moment of my life. At that very moment, all right, when that happened, okay, I was on time off. I wasn't streaming. And I was actually spending time with Kat. And we were actually doing fun stuff. But, what happened was things weren't going as planned. Like, we had plans of things that we wanted to do during those 3 days that I had off from streaming. And sadly, they didn't all work out. And it's personal reasons. I'm not going to explain what it was. But there was basically some negative stuff going on. That, here's something we've been planning for, a month. Really looking forward to. Hoping for an amazing time together. And then, fuck me, something goes wrong. And now it's not as amazing as we wanted it to be. In fact, it was way less amazing than we actually wanted it to be. So here I am. waking up one morning while we're on our time off, feeling miserable because we're not having as good of a time as we really should have. And I'm having these terrible feelings again of maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe I don't deserve the time off. Maybe I don't deserve, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't deserve any success. Maybe I don't deserve the time off. Maybe I just deserve to be a slave for the rest of my life, to always be behind on finances and back taxes, and to have a horrible existence for the rest of my life. Maybe I just deserve it. And I'm feeling this depression in my head, and then someone tells me, Phil, are you aware? I know that your big comeback from your time off is you're going to play State of Decay 2. Are you aware that there's like 4 people already playing it on Twitch, and one of them has 18,000 viewers and already made like $4,000 in 10 minutes from cheer subs and tips? And I hear that, and here it is. Boom, self-destruction. Let's do it. Go right to Twitter and make that tweet that I know is wrong. It's not how I feel. Let's do it. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that happens to me. And it's not just me. This kind of shit happens to a lot of people who have depression, where you're in a moment of weakness and your depression takes over. It actually takes over. It makes you do shit that's out of character and normally you wouldn't want to do. And you know there's nothing good that's going to come of it, yet you do it anyway. And then you look at it afterward and you go, what the fuck did I do that for? Oh, fuck. Here we go again, right? And this has happened to me many times in my life. I remember there was one time, all right, when something really bad happened to me. And I had a friend who was being very nice to me and had previously been real close to me or whatever. And I actually shut that friend off completely and never spoke to them again. And it had nothing, that friend did nothing wrong at all, whatsoever, but self-destruction. My body, my depression told me, you don't deserve to have that friend anymore. And I stopped talking. No, this isn't anyone you guys know. Oh, it's John Rambo. No, nothing like that. But this was someone who for months was a really good friend to me. You know, may have even blossomed into something else. And I shut them completely off and I deleted their fucking name and number from my phone. And I never spoke to them ever again. By the way, this was back before even, it was a really long time ago. So it wasn't like, oh, I would have texted him or whatever. I blocked them on Instant Messenger because that was how all the kids talked back then. Or blocked her on Instant Messenger. And that was it. Never spoke to them again. And that was purposely because I wanted to hurt myself. You know? And the problem is, with people who have extreme depression, that's when you get to the point, it's not just mental, it becomes physical. And that's when you get people who do physical things to themselves, physical harm and stuff, okay? And you know, sometimes it gets to the point where it hounds you and it actually haunts you so badly you just can't put up with it anymore. No, it's like, no matter what I do, no matter how much I fight and I strive, you know what I mean? I'm always gonna feel awful in the back of my head. I could end up being the most successful person on planet Earth and my brain will never allow me to feel good about myself. And I think that honestly is a lot of the people who end up going to that extreme. That's what it is. They see no way out. It's the endless trap of no matter how much I succeed, no matter how well I do, I will always feel like shit. And that's their way out, is the ultimate step of hurting themselves, you know, losing their own lives. And that's terrible, you know. And I'll be real with you guys. There was one point in my life where I felt like that. And it was a long time ago. And it was a point in my life when I was single. It was before YouTube, by the way. And I was single. And I didn't like what I did for a living for my job. I was in a ton of financial debt, like I am now. Only back then, it wasn't like I made a lot of money, so I didn't even see a way out of it. Okay? My parents, at that point in my life, weren't really involved with the stuff that I was doing. And honestly, I felt they didn't really care about me, because they weren't involved or interested in me or my welfare, what I was doing with my life. And really, I didn't have anywhere to fall back on. There was a lot of negativity in my life at that time for personal reasons. And so I was at a point in my life where I didn't want to go on. I was like, I could care less if I live or die today or tomorrow or whatever. If tomorrow I were to walk into the middle of the street and a car splattered me all over the fucking place, I wouldn't give a shit. You know, and it's awful, because the truth of the matter is, when you have those feelings, all right, and this is logically how I basically kind of convinced myself out of that mindset, is even though you may feel awful about yourself, and even though you may not want to go on, there are other people out there who know you, who depend on you, who love you, And those are the people who really you need to surround yourself with in times when you feel that badly. You know, just imagine, being gone for good, and what a hole that leaves for people who love you, and people who, what did those people do ever, all right, to you to deserve to have you ripped out of their lives? Now, I know that sounds incredibly selfish because you're the one hurting, right? Right? But it's true that how selfish is it for you to take your own life, right? And then leave this gaping hole where you used to be, especially, again, if you're someone who people love you and depend on you, or just, your parents in particular, although I know a lot of people don't have good relationships with their parents, or friends or loved ones, right? And you're absolutely right. It's not about the other people. Someone just said that. It's not about the other people. It's not. But that's, at least for me, that was one of the ways that I helped to get myself out of the hole I was in, was that maybe, it's not just about me. That's the thing. It's not just about you. It's not just about them. It's about everything working together, And so, that's the other thing, too. People will blame people. So I heard that someone was depressed that committed suicide. What an awful person to do such a selfish thing. Oh, my God. Like, why on this planet do we have to always play the blame game? This is actually something unrelated, but why do we have to do this? When something goes wrong, there's always got to be a finger to point and someone who has to be responsible afterward. Maybe things are just fucked up sometimes. You ever think of that? Maybe things, though, this isn't a land of lollipops and fucking rainbows. You know what I mean? And this is a serious world where things get messed up. And sometimes you just have to deal with the repercussions and say, how do we get past the blame game and say, can we just fucking get past that and find a way to make the problem fixed? Instead of, we have to find the perpetrator or the person behind. It's not your fault if you feel depression, and it's certainly not your family member's fault or your loved one's fault if you feel depression, right? It's no one's fault. Fuck that. Instead, let's try to make people feel better so that they don't get to that fucking extreme. And you know what? Again, if it does happen and you see someone who's really negatively affected, it's not your fault. You could be the best friend, the best, significant other, the best, relative to someone, and they could still feel awful about themselves, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you kind of at one point just have to say there's no one's fault. All you can do is be there for them and try to help them as much as you possibly can, and try to be as good of a friend, relative, significant other, whatever you can be, and not let it get to you if you can't reach out and break through and help that person, because, these mental disorders are fucked up. And, some people say, I'll just go on pills. That's not the solution either. Pills help. Don't get me wrong. Pills absolutely help, but they don't cure these kind of issues. They just help to mitigate and help to keep it under wraps. Like I said, like sometimes it's the guy in the shoulder, like I mentioned. So maybe that guy in the shoulder goes away for a couple days, but he's going to come back, but at least he's gone for a couple days, right? So that's what I mean. So, it's a very complex issue. It is. The best takeaways I can give you when it comes to this is, number one, don't play the blame game. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. Number two, if you know someone affected by an issue like depression, don't ever tell them it's their fault. Don't try to tell them it's something else. That's fucked up, the most fucked up thing you could possibly do, and only immature, really fucked up people would do that. And you should be lucky in your life that you don't feel that, to know what it's really like, that you can now be on an outsider, saying to them, haha, it's not what you say, it's just because you're weak or whatever, or, you're misdiagnosing. You should be happy that you don't have to be in that situation, because you know how horrible you're making that person feel, all right? Number three, if you are an outsider to the situation, you're trying to help someone, you can do whatever you can, but understand you may not be able, because it's not something that can definitively be fixed, at least from my experience. It's always going to be there. And, it's tough. It really is tough. Because, self-destructiveness really sucks. And it could hurt yourself. You could hurt others, And I know personally, because I've hurt myself and I have hurt others, definitively, by my actions. And again, I take responsibility. It was me that does the fucked up stuff. So I'm the one responsible. But it's fueled by this destructive nature in the back of my head telling me to fuck everything up for myself, It sucks. It absolutely sucks. And, There's no solution. This isn't a discussion that I can say, guess what, guys? I got the miracle cure, and here it is, and now everything's hunky-dory. Here's not. You know, I've toughed through it my whole life, and I'll be real with you guys. The shit that I've been through over the years, when I got people who say such nasty shit about me constantly, it's all false, even though it might be based on a snippet of truth. When you got people out there who think that you're a pedophile, you're a thief, a scam artist, a constant, you know, disgusting beggar, and all this shit, on top of the fact that I had this before that, it doesn't make stuff easy, you know? And the fact that every day when I wake up, it seems like I get past this hurdle, the next hurdle. I got past the taxes, here comes the next fucking thing, right? And it's like this, it's been like this my whole life. I can't just get to a point where I could just be like, can I maybe if I never had that constant shit going on, I'd be able to kind of like relax a bit. I really feel like I've almost never relaxed in my life, maybe a couple times. And it's because of this. Always being there. You know what I mean? So, at least, you know, I'm certainly not a guru. I'm not an authority. All I am is a person. A person who's had experience. And I at least hope that by relaying what I've just told you guys, that it will at least help someone out there who may be suffering from what I've had my whole life. And maybe it'll give you some positive advice based on what I've told you. And just so you know, you are not alone. You are not a horrible person because you have this. It's not your fault, you know. And I'm starting to tear up, but it's true. Like, so many people out there feel alone. That's how I felt when I was at the bottom. And I wanted it all to go away. I felt that it was my fault and I was alone and no one loved me. And that's the worst thing because it's the furthest from the fucking truth. But there's people out there who feel like this. I mean, I can't imagine people, like I said, high-profile celebrities who are at the top, and they're rich, and they have all the support, and they can't shake the fucking feeling, right? And then, you know, it's awful. And I really empathize because I'm there with you, you know? It's not something that it's easy to talk about. It's some people are embarrassed to talk about this kind of stuff publicly because they think I'm a weak person because I have it. That's not the truth either. And if anything, like I said, I hope that this segment helps people who maybe are alone and feel like you're not, all right? And know that there's always people out there who care about you, and you will leave a gap if you were ever to leave this earth. You know, people will miss you. And even if you don't see it every day, and even if you're treated like shit every fucking day, right? There's a reason for you to exist, okay? All right, guys. I guess I'm going to try for some shout-outs, although I did see some people were being incredibly disrespectful, which I knew was going to happen. What can you do about it, right? Let's see what people had to say about this, and then we'll end the show. Let's see here. Let's see. Neo Perpetual T-Man 94 cheered, and he said, thanks, Phil, for talking about this. There's such ignorance about the topic. I have a lot of friends who have depression and anxiety, and I have issues in the past with this, but I overcame them. Some still struggle, and they're not able to overcome it. And that's true. You know, some people, that you can find a way out of it. You know, at least me, I found a way to mitigate it, to deal with it when it happens. But I still do stupid shit. I still do stupid, destructive stuff. And you know, again, you shouldn't feel bad, and you shouldn't blame yourself, and you shouldn't have this ball of negativity because of it either. Anyway, thank you, Anonymosaurus Rex. He did a cheer. Jack Spartacus tipped me $3. Thank you, Jack. Black Mage C-Type cheered. And he said, your depression sounds like your detractors. How ironic is that? Seriously, people are so negative and toxic and horribly persistent. All they ever do is ride around on your back trying to put you down. That's depressing in and itself, but also quite inspiring, seeing as you continue to do what you do in spite of struggling with depression and essentially getting a double dose of it from a legion of folks who each are the living personification of depression. Pretty good observation. Neo Perpetual T-Man cheered again. He said, maybe part of the reason so many people actually try to hurt me is because they're feeling the same way about themselves. They see me being the successful guy, maybe, and they feel bad about themselves, so then they have to attack the guy. Maybe. Now, okay. Bulletproof did a 100-bit cheer. He says, I find it sad that celebrities would take themselves from their kids. They have to live with that forever. You know what? You're right. That is very sad. It's a horrible situation because, trust me when I say this, when someone feels that bad, okay, they're not doing it to hurt others. If they're to the point, I'm going to hurt myself physically. They're not doing it because they want to hurt others, but they're so much in turmoil and pain in their own head. They feel like the only way they can make it stop is to just end it completely. Okay, no amount of talking, no amount of drugs, nothing is going to solve that besides ending it all. And so to them, yeah, and they may even know, man, my kids are going to be affected by this and everything. But to them, there's nothing else they can do. They feel like that's their one desperate escape. And that's awful, It is. It's the absolute bottom. I've been there. I've been to the absolute... I feel that's probably the worst you can feel. Outside of being physically beaten to death and being tortured, that's probably mentally the worst state you can be in, to the point where that's it. I gotta end it, right? And there's nothing logical about it. When you get to that point, there's no logical thought behind anything anymore. It's just feeling. It's pure emotion. I need to end the pain. Anonysaurus cheered again. He said, I hope the best for you, man. You deserve to be happy. Thank you, Anonysaurus. Brown is back, cheered. He said, thank you for talking about this, Phil. As someone who has done stupid things in stream chat, I hope I can be a positive member of the community. Ostmink cheered. He says, the devil versus the angel on your shoulder. Yeah, the problem is I don't have an angel. I don't get an angel over here. I get just the devil right here. Anonysaurus cheered. He said, mad respect, man. It's sick that people want to tear you down, but you persevered. Thank you. Zach O056 did a cheer. He says, always good to talk about this stuff. Pot really helped me. All the best, Phil. And some people actually tell me that, too. Not only just, there was medication, pills and stuff you could take, but some people say stuff like marijuana and stuff. You know what I mean? Some people it helps. Wolfie Plays tipped me $5. Says, still fairly new around here. Gotta say, though, after listening to that, you've earned my utmost respect. Fair play. Thank you, Wolf. If anything, like I said, the purpose of this segment was to try to help people. Because I didn't have, in my life, I never had someone step up to me and say, I understand, I get it, because I have it too, and here's what you can do, or I feel you, you're not alone. I never had that. I never had a single person tell me that. So for me, it was a lot of introspection and a lot of trying to get around it myself, and it was real tough, let me tell you. Aaron PC did a 100-bit cheer. He said, at the beginning of this year, I suffered extreme anxiety and panic attacks every day. This is something I couldn't control. I'm just now getting back on my feet, and luckily with a good support system and wonderful girlfriend, I feel like myself again. Haven't taken a Xanax in a month. I know where you're coming from, and I support you. That is great news, and, thanks for sharing that, Aaron. And Austin Mink just cheered and said, Kat is your angel. She is. I mean, real talk. Not going to make me tear up again. Having her in my life makes my life a hell of a lot better. It does, because... I was at a low point last year. If things didn't turn around, I don't know what would have happened. It was coming back. Real talk, it was coming back bad. It was coming back really bad for me with the negative stuff that happened to me last year. And she has been my saving grace, where she keeps me focused. She keeps me on the path to positivity. When something negative, again, pops up and happens and says it's going to fuck you over, she says, no, don't let that overtake your mind. You have to focus on the positive. You have to focus on being here with me. You have to focus on being here on the positivity when you get to stream and you have fun on stream and stuff. And having that positivity and having that support means the world, and it changes things. It does. And it doesn't have to be a significant other. Like I said, it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be a family member. If that person could be the person to pull you out, that's what you really need, All right, guys. I think that's enough for me. You don't want to see me, crying like a fucking baby here. Yeah, exactly, Asian entrepreneur. Who's cutting onions? Did someone just start cutting onions in my house? I think someone's cutting onions downstairs. All right. Final cheers from a couple people here. Near Perpetual Man says, maybe others feel that they only have a devil on their shoulder and forget the fact that they are their own angel. That got very deep. Gibby Pats, excuse me. Sorry, I'm tearing up. I can't even read. He cheered and said, you always have our support, DSP. Thank you very much, Gibby. And a big bumbling black man cheered. He says, you got a good woman, Phil. Don't lose her. I don't intend to. All right, guys. Thank you very much. It's been a great podcast. What a bunch of crazy, topics we talked about today. A wide variety of topics. I hope you enjoyed. I told you it was going to be my longest podcast ever. I've been broadcasting since 10:15 a.m. It's now 4 p.m. and I'm ending the podcast. So thank you guys very much for watching. Whether you watched on demand on YouTube, on the King of Hate Vlogs, whether you watched live on stream today on Twitch, no matter how it is, that you did watch. Thank you very much. And I hope that you, no matter what segment you watched, I hope you got something out of the show. All right. And Mark McCauley did a final cheer. He said, bye, Phil. God bless you. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time, whenever the next podcast may be. And that's it for Hate Live. This is Darkside Phil signing off. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody. Later.